Hi, I'm Antoine Grondin. I want to talk today about structured logging. So just who I am quickly, I'm a French-Canadian digital ocean engineer, and I speak funny because I'm French-Canadian, so forgive me. How you log today? I'm just going to assume that you use the standard library logger and that you printf your strings, your logs like this. And what I think you should not do when you log is to printf your strings. So what is structured logging? Structured logging is when you don't printf your strings. Everything is a key value. So like if you have a log call, it's going to look like this. You're going to set your, let's say you want to serve log the address that whatever you're doing right now, you would log it as an address key and store the value of the address there. And then it would emit something like JSON to stdr or to syslog that would look like this. And you see you still have your address key there. So if you would have been logging like a printf string where you log how many bytes you're serving, instead you would store a key value of the same thing. And then all your data stays structured when you log it. And same thing if you're logging at error level, you're going to log your error instead of %ving it in a printf kind of thing. So why would you use structured logging? So it's easier to process programmatically if you keep all the key value mapping in your program. So if you log in logfump or if you log in JSON, it's easier to process these kinds of things than just natural language strings. I think that logs are for machine first instead of users. If you have multiple services that are running in production and they're all sending their logs to a centralized logging system, it's going to be going through a bunch of pipelines before it hits any user. So all along this pipe, it's better if you keep it in a machine-readable format than if you keep it in human-readable form. Because in the end, the machine-readable format, you can turn it back into a human-readable format. So that's a little tool that I use to make my logs pretty. It looks like this. Basically, you pipe it logs in JSON form or in logfump form. And if it looks like something structured, it's going to prettify it with colors and stuff. And if it's not, it's just going to put it back to std. And so what you can do with your logs when they're in structured form, you can parse them and do really cool stuff. So one of my favorite motivating example is once upon a time, I wanted to introduce a cache in front of thousands of servers, and it was kind of hard to justify why I wanted to do that. So what I could do is take the service I wanted to cache in front of, take all of its logs for 6 months, and then replay against the simulation of the cache, all the requests that went through it, and the size of the keys that were requested, and just prove that the cache hit would be like that after that long. And I won, so we got all these caches. So once you have structured logging, you can send all of your logs to a database and then query it like a SQL database if you don't have like time to set up a proper centralized logging, and then it's going to give you superpowers. And if you have more time or if you have lots of money, you can use Splunk or Elasticsearch and Cumula or all the solutions that exist for that. And that's the kind of query you can do with Kibana. You can do plots of whatever is going on in production if you don't have metrics for the things you want to plot. And then, yeah. So basically, the big message here is don't lose the structure that you have in your logs for no reason by printfing your data in natural language form, and then that you need to write ad hoc regex every time you have a question to ask instead of just keeping the data in a usable form. So how you would do that, basically you don't format the message, you log everything as a key value like I explained. And I would say that you should log in JSON if you're to do that in a structured logging. There's logfump that is another format that exists. I say JSON because every programming language ever pretty much has a JSON parser. And if it doesn't, JSON has a formal grammar instead of logfump that has a ad hoc grammar and some Godoc somewhere. The downside is that logfump is much faster at encoding than JSON, but it hasn't been a problem at DO in all of our services. There's Go packages you can use to do structured logging. GoKit, I think, is the best one right now. I feel that it's a little bit bare and unopinionated, so you need to set up all the things for yourself. So I just made a sample package, I bought me /log that just set up the conventions I like. It controls with log 15. I like it. I just think it has a very large API. And logris is what I started with, but it has printf and stuff, so I think it encourages wrong behavior. So I would say that if you don't know what to do next today, maybe use it in your projects. Some projects that use it, Docker use logris, and Prometheus use, I think, logris, or some form of that. But they don't completely do the key value thing. They use printf stuff, so it's a little bit annoying. And things that I wish would use it is gRPC. They log gRPC, if you use it, logs a lot of stuff all the time if it has connections, errors, and everything. And you can insert your own logger, but it doesn't support a key value interface. It's a little bit annoying. So that's just my plug here. And when not to use it, because there are cases you shouldn't. When it's a CLI tool that's just for users, don't use it. Are there questions?